And we're recording. Welcome to whatever podcast this is. It is August 31st, 2021, so it's kind of the end of summer. And it's like, what is it, like 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m.?
Yeah.
And we're here on a beach. For those of you who can see this, you can see that. For those of you who are just listening on the podcast, my little friend here was just pointing to the background where it's beautiful. We've come to sit on some So what is your name?
My name is Mary Elin. What's your name?
Josh Rackless. I forgot to introduce myself. This is Josh Rackless. That's me. The show is called Celebrity Josh, but it might change to Spark U because it's like my own little university. And I'm going to change my name to Spark because I want a cool name like Sting or
Love
Pink.
that.
One syllable, something visual. And yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if Mary Elin.
Mary Elin Moore. Kind of like Mary Tyler Moore, but
Right.
Mary Elin Moore.
And,
so should I call you Spark today, do you think? Or should we stick with Josh?
Let's try out Spark. Let's try out
Okay.
Spark because I did an interview with Dylan Black last week, the radio host. That's
Yeah.
also a Yuck Yucks judge, and I told him this whole story, and he's like, I would just stick with Celebrity Josh. You've built a lot of equity in that. You've been building that brand for so long. I'm like, not really, no. Like if you Google Celebrity Josh, you're not getting me. You're getting Josh Brolin with a celebrity. So I wouldn't keep it for that. So would you like Celebrity Josh?
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of like Celebrity Josh. I'm sitting here go, how about Superstar Spark?
Superstar
Then
Spark?
I'm thinking Sparky, but you know.
Sparky, I tried. I was
yeah.
thinking like Sparky Spark, like Marky
Oh,
Mark.
Sparky Spark. I love that, actually. That's a good one.
Everything's taken. Like I was hoping to have the .com for something, like in SparkySpark.com's taken. But I don't think you can't pick a name based on that because every name's going to be taken. Like even some things are taken.
Mine's not. I'm lucky.
Mary Elin Moore.
Mine is not taken. You know why? Because my mother decided that she wasn't going to spell Ellen the traditional way.
That is smart.
Because of that, thank you, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to find Mary Ellen and use it everywhere.
Anywhere. That's really good. You're lucky. Did your mom buy the .com when you were born?
I don't think it existed
Just
when I was
kidding.
born.
My niece's name is Ayla, and I looked up. I thought that was such an original name. I was like, I've never heard of an Ayla before, and so I looked up Ayla.com, and it's not being used. But I messaged the person. I said, "Can I buy this?" And he's like, "Well, how much do you want to offer?" I'm like, "How about $25?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you mean 25,000?" I'm like, "No, I did not mean that. Who the heck are you?"
Wow. Yeah.
So screw him.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. Well, we'll see what feels right here. I want a single syllable. I feel like Celebrity Josh. It's the same as Calamity Jane, so it's not
Right.
awful.
Yeah. That's pretty
Ariana
good.
Grande has even
Yeah.
more syllables, but I feel like Pink, Sting. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So we'll try with Spark.
Okay, we'll try Spark.
And I was afraid because I was like, what does a spark look like? I don't even know. But I discovered recently that if you type in the word spark to your phone, like the emoji that pops up is a spark. But even
Cool.
better, it's like a little lightning bolt in the shape of an S. I'm like, come on.
I love that. That's amazing.
It's my own logo. So I might use that. And then if I start Spark U, because it's like Spark University, but Spark U, it'll be the little lightning bolt, but with like a U underneath that's almost like a smile, like it makes a face. So maybe I put a couple sparks on
Like
either side of it.
Or if you reverse it, it could be an us.
Yes, that could be an us if it was
Yeah.
flipped upside down. Ooh, us, yeah.
Yeah, play on,
wonder if
letters and words.
I wonder if spark.us is taken. I could get sparku.me, but then that's getting complicated. So there's this singer called Lights that has @Lights on Instagram. I'm like, I like that. So then I started thinking, can I be Sparks? So I did a little poll a couple of days ago, like Spark versus Sparks. And one guy said, yeah, I would do Spark You, like singular, but Sparks, because you could be Sparks. I'm like, oh, I could be Sparks. But I figure why add an extra letter if you don't need to?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Probably nobody will ever call me Spark, and it doesn't matter.
I'm going to call you Spark all day.
All right, all day long. Do you mind if I move this beer bottle that I just found under the log? Let's see here. That's a Smirnoff Ice. Here we go.
Hey, just so everybody knows, that was not mine while I was waiting for Josh, okay?
Okay, if that's your story, because I just found her here 5 minutes ago. I said, who lady lying under a log? Do you want to do an interview? She's like, okay, I'm finished my Smirnoff Ice. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, and I'm going to take that to the beer store and get 10 cents. That's what I do.
I think you only get 5, but...
No.
Really?
Well, it used to be 5 for cans, 10 for bottles, but then they just upped it, so now it's 10 for cans, 10 for bottles.
Cool.
And then 20 cents if it's like a large bottle, like a wine bottle or something.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you think like, oh, like every time I go for a jog, I pick up like 10 of these things, and I'm like, wow, I got paid $1 to jog. But then you take them to the store and you get like, you know, even if you have 100, like you'll get $10, and then you go to Tim Hortons to get a sandwich because it took a while to walk over there, and you're like, well, that's a null. It's like just cancel each other out.
Yep.
But you're saving the environment, and that's really what I'm all about. So we are coming to you from Westboro Beach. Mary Elin is a famous Instagram model, and she was meeting up with friends in the area, and I said, well, why don't I come to the beach, because that gives me an excuse to be in the beach area for the end of summer. It makes me feel good. Like back there, there's all these people in bikinis, and there's a tent there, and all the kids playing in the water, and it just makes me feel very I even brought my bathing suit just in case for some reason I'm going to swim, even though I didn't really swim all summer, just once last week with my
Spark at the Beach.
SparkAtTheBeach.com. So Lights, she has it at Lights on Instagram, but then her .com is I Am Lights, which is pretty good. Yeah. So I think I looked up I Am Sparks, and even that isn't available. So whatever. Tony Robbins is just Tony Robbins. He's not called Spark. But I'm like, if you were named Spark, wouldn't that be cool? All right. So what's your deal? Like, if I was looking at your Instagram bio, what would it say?
What would it say? Geez, I don't know the last time I updated, but I'll tell you.
Well, a lot of people I talk to would always just like writer, author, podcaster.
So I worked for 32 years for the federal government.
Ooh.
And
what's that like, working?
It's long.
Yeah.
It's it can be fun. It can be boring. It can be everything, right?
Yeah.
But I did it for 32 years, and when I was heading towards my Freedom 55, which was always my goal, I thought, well, what am I going to do when I retire that keeps me feeling like I'm engaged in stuff, and I'm taking care of myself and continuing to enjoy life, volunteering to help organizations? What could bring all of that together? And when I was younger, I always wanted to be a fashion model, but I never had the gumption or the confidence to do it for a variety of reasons. One of them being that I was always told in school, so listen carefully, teachers, Mary Elin, you're a big girl. You'll have to be at the back beside the teacher for the class picture. So that really resonated with me to mean that I was a big girl, and when really what they meant is you're tall.
They put the tall people in the back so that you don't block the other people.
Bingo.
Yes.
You got it, Spark.
They weren't like, let's hide the fat people. I don't think.
So that just sat with me so negatively for so many years that I actually had a lot of body image issues. For years.
So you really didn't understand that they just meant you're taller, we're putting you in the back?
I didn't understand it.
Wow.
I didn't understand it.
Right. So teachers don't say you're a big girl. Not that there's anything wrong with being a big girl. But
but it was just at that moment in time, it just made me feel like pursuing my dream that I always wanted to do, which was to be a model. And back in my day and age, to be a model, you had to be of a certain size. So now it's great. I love it because models come in all shapes and sizes, and it's more realistic for those who are interested in purchasing things.
Yes.
So when I was about 2 or 3 years away from retirement, I decided to go back to so I was with a modeling agency for a very brief period of time in my early 30s, but because of my job, I was very busy. I was traveling across the country as a federal negotiator.
Whoa.
I couldn't do it anymore. So then in my early 50s, I decided I would approach an agency in the Ottawa area, and to my surprise and excitement, they took me on. I was with them for a year or two, and then I moved over to my current agent, which is Angie. Angie's AMTI, and I absolutely adore Angie. She's the best agent, and I love being part of her team.
Yes, and a few weeks ago, you just said you watched this interview. I interviewed Helena, I keep forgetting. But during the interview, I discovered that Helena is her daughter, the daughter of Angie. And then Helena's a big actress, and Angie discovered Ryan Gosling back in Cornwall, and now she's in Ottawa. And it's all quite exciting, so it's very prestigious to be with her.
There's some familiarity between Angie and my dad, which I didn't make that connection originally, but now I'm just thinking about that.
Oh my God.
My dad was a famous local broadcaster here in Ottawa, Gord Atkinson. He ran a little show, but it was a big show called Gord Atkinson Showbill, and he would interview the stars, go down to California, did many radio series, and one of his big claim to fame in the Ottawa area is in 1957 when Elvis Presley came to town. I think it was the only time that Elvis came.
I'm sure it wasn't a lot.
My dad, in addition to interviewing Elvis, he introduced him at the old auditorium, which is where the YMCA is now.
Wow.
And my dad said what happened was that nobody heard my dad introduce him, because as soon as the curtain opened,
they're just screaming.
They just started screaming for Elvis. So.
Yeah, they had no interest in Gord Atkinson.
Yeah, so there was that aspect of it, but also my father helped to discover some local talent in Ottawa, both Paul Anka and Rich Little. So
wow.
He started their careers, and look what happened to them. So
those are people I've actually heard of, so that's pretty big for Ottawa.
You haven't heard of Elvis, Spark?
No, but I mean Ottawa people that I've heard of.
I'm just teasing.
That's funny. That's good stuff. You should do comedy.
Maybe.
So yeah, Rich Little and Paul Anka, and then Tom Green are the only people I know from Ottawa.
Ah.
Although
there's Sandra Oh. She went to my high school.
Sandra Oh, yes, she went to Sir Robert Borden.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where I went.
We all know her.
Yeah.
And then who else is there? I feel like Matthew Perry lived here for a bit. Like there's.
I think he did.
There's
too.
some story about how he beat up Justin Trudeau or something.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, there was something about that. And then I feel like Tom Cruise lived here for a bit or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's Ottawa for you.
Yeah.
But now anybody can be a star. Like I'll see on Instagram some Instagrammer that has like millions of YouTube followers. I'll be like, oh my God, they're doing their show from Ottawa. So you can do anything now. And then Tom Green just drove back from LA, drove a van across the country, and he's hanging out eating shawarmas and vlogging about it in Ottawa this summer. Yeah. Speaking of food, I should let people know I haven't eaten. I went for a jog this morning and then had sort of a bowl of oats, and then I was going to go upstairs for lunch, but I'm working on some copywriting projects today, and
I haven't eaten either, if that makes you feel
okay,
better.
well that's good. This is good. So I didn't have time.
Well, I had toast this morning for breakfast, but I didn't have lunch.
So we both eaten, so I don't know what we're complaining about. But you know.
And I had a drink. You know.
You had your Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
Lots of calories in that. So I'm a little cranky because I was going to have lunch with my family, but my sister's like, well, you can't bring your laptop to the table, then just don't eat here. I'm like, ugh. And then I thought we were going to eat at the little cafe at the beach, but it's closed because Ottawa shut. Like, why? It's still August. Oh, we're shutting it down. No summer left. I'm like, really? It's warm out. How do they decide that? Like, summer's like 2 weeks long in Ottawa. Why don't you like?
I know most kids aren't going back to school till next week. So.
Yeah, I don't know how you decide that that's it. Got to get out of this city. But that's just the hunger talking, just the crankiness. It's the Hunger Games here. Okay, so you have famous father, and Elvis and everything. My mom interviewed like Leonard Cohen once.
She's super cool. I love Leonard Cohen.
That's our claim to fame.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, my father interviewed quite a few. Bing Crosby was his biggest idol, and he did a whole series on Bing Crosby that won international awards. So back in his day, it was all radio. Yeah. There was no VJs. It was all DJs, right? Back then, and he ran the little Coca-Cola teenager show that he ran in Ottawa. He grew up in Toronto, and then my mom and him moved to Ottawa, and then they had 7 of us kids. I'm the youngest of 7, and they only picked out the name Joseph for me originally because they just thought they were getting another boy. But
so what? Do you have 6 boys and you?
No, I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. So.
And then your sister came after you?
No, I'm the youngest. She was child number 4.
So they already had a girl. Why would they just assume you're going to be a boy again?
I don't know. I guess because the odds, right?
Right.
5 boys.
Well, it goes by the father. It's like the sperm that decides the gender, apparently. Yeah. So it's Gord's fault.
And both my parents were only children, so it was kind of cool that they had so many kids after that.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to still have kids. I'm 48 now, and I don't know what I'm waiting for. I should have grandkids at this point, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's okay,
I'm a
there's always time.
late bloomer. I was just stupid. I was like, oh no, I got to go to Hollywood first. I'm not ready to settle down. I don't know what my life's going to be. And then you look back and like, wait, what the hell have I been doing?
It's okay. I mean, I'm a late bloomer too, you know, like it was when I turned 50, I had this revelation that I was half a century old and I didn't know me. You know, and my initials are me, Mary Elin.
Right,
and it's
right.
Like
I don't know why you're not named Josephine, but okay.
I'm actually named after my two grandmothers. That's
Okay.
you know,
So they were like,
they had to think quick
you came
on
out
the
and they're like,
spot.
who do we know? Mary and Ellen.
Mary and Eleanor.
Mary Ellen, good.
Actually, Eleanor, but I go by Mary Ellen. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's what they did. But so yeah, when I was 50, I had this revelation that I don't know who I am. I went to this yoga retreat with my sister-in-law on finding your bliss.
Oh boy.
And that's when I started to realize that the body image issues and all these concerns that I had about me were all from my enemy, my mind, right? That had formed these. And I started releasing my mind from all this negativity about me. And I decided to start pursuing those dreams, Spark. So you can pursue them at any age, and I think that's all that I try to do for the sake of my own daughters, is to say, do what you want and do it when you can, and don't hold back. Just do it.
Yeah, no, I interviewed yesterday a comedian. I guess she's in her 40s, but she worked for the Navy for 30 years, and then now she's doing comedy, and she just
Very
said she
regimented, that Navy.
Yeah, I said, wow, is that as fun as I think it is? Like working on a ship and having all friends. She's like, no, we actually do a job. We're not just sitting around. It's not a university dorm where everybody's playing poker. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, she said she just kept having funny thoughts in the shower and writing them down. And then she asked her husband one day, should I do comedy? He's like, no. And she's like, all right, I'll do it then. And then she did it the next day, and she just does it, produces a show, and she's in LA. And I said, you know, if I came to LA, could I still, like at 48, would it be weird to be going open mics? It's just, no, you can do it, whatever.
Not at all.
It's all good.
I mean, a lot of people like this expression, age is just a number. I don't like it that much, because I think actually it's not just a number.
No, it's not.
It's not just a number at all. It's very representative of, you know, how long you have been in this world and how much different energy and different experiences you have through your lifetime. So it's much more than just a number.
Well, I listened to a podcast today, this James Altucher one. He's interviewing a guy who's specialist in longevity, and they're saying within 5 to 10 years we'll have medications that'll, you know, extend your life, and they say somebody born today will easily live to 200 years old if they want.
What?
So
do we really want to live to 200?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yes. Well, see, that's James says, like, well, and the people who discuss the ethics of, oh, should we live that long? He's like, it's all BS. I don't want to hear that crap. Like, everybody wants to live longer and live better. Like, just screw off with
I'm okay with it if other people who are in my life also live that long.
Right. You don't want to be alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay. I don't really like anyone. I don't know. So, but that's the thing. That's the one thing I realized about being older. No, I wasn't going to get depressing, but I just, when you see like older people, like 80 or 90, you go, oh man, like everybody they knew, like anybody older than them is no longer, like it's kind of scary. But I guess that's why you have kids, because then you make new people, and then they get to know you. And you know, my niece and nephew know Uncle Dosh, and they're going through all my childhood stuff and looking at my old toys, and I read them my old diary and everything. And so at least it's somebody new to have memories about.
For sure.
But in the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and be healthy and
just live every day, right?
That's the thing. I'm trying. I don't know. But yeah, I was saying to you that I'm doing copywriting now, so I've been in my parents' basement for the pandemic, but my sister's like, yeah, maybe it's time to move out. So I guess she talked to my parents, and so I'm supposed to be up by November 1st. But, I mean, I could leave anytime. I'm a digital nomad. That's the thing. I sold my condo. I've got my stuff in some boxes, so I'm ready to go. If anybody wants a roommate or...
Spark's your guy.
Spark's your guy. Imagine saying you live with Spark. How much fun would that be? So where were we? You were a government person, and you found Angie's talent.
Yeah.
And then, how long ago was that?
Well, I've been with Angie for over 2 years, and when I first whoa. That drink's starting to sink in.
Yeah, that's like 6%, 7% alcohol. Let's just check the bottle here.
I don't check the percentages anymore.
No, you don't want to know. It doesn't matter.
I really
Oh, it's only 5%. No, by the way, she did not drink this, but I used to drink this at bars. Mike's Hard Lemonade was my drink, and then when they came out with this,
too.
yeah, that was delicious. But then I threw out ice. I'm like, well, that looks more mature. That looks more cool. But it still tasted like lemonade. It was quite delicious. And now, when the Lunch TV guy was saying, you don't drink alcohol so you can live longer. I'm like, oh man, like shouldn't have had any alcohol.
They take all the fun things away, but just remember, red wine keeps the heart in good condition.
The resveratrol, absolutely red wine. So if I'm ever drinking, I drink red wine. But
I'm pretty sure there's a study for everything that we can justify our eating and drinking.
All right, well, yeah, dark chocolate's good for you. All this stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't drink anymore because the only time I drank was to get the confidence to talk to girls at bars and be like, hey, now I'm like, I'm not at bars and I don't know girls and so I'm like, what is the point of any of this? But maybe that's extra reason to drink. I don't know. I just get really, even at bars, I would just get I'd be drinking and then I'd stand in the corner and just be listening to slow songs like, oh my God, why did I break up with Sarah? Or oh, what am I doing with my life? But even, I just read a page, I had this diary that I wrote every day in when I was 14. Somebody gave me a little diary, so I'm like, I should write in it. And I read page 1 a couple of days ago with my sister and niece there, and I'm like, and at the end of the page 1 on January 1st, I said, I worry about getting lines on my face and aging, and I don't want my relatives to die, and I don't want to get old. And my sister's like, did you write that today? I'm like, no, I wrote that when I was 14. So at least I'm consistent. But I keep looking to people, because it gets a little depressing when I look at Instagrams and it's kids going to Frosh Week and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be that person.
Really?
But I try to follow like Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, like sort of rich people that are more my age, and then I can go, okay, there's, Tony Robbins is having fun. Like,
why are you following rich people?
Well, because I'm trying to see people.
Oh, nomads.
Nomads, yeah. Well, the nomads again they're kind of young, like they're.
Yeah. True.
I mean, I don't know. I guess there's two types. There's like I'm 20 and I'm seeing the world and I live on a boat and I'm having sex with everyone I meet, and then there's. I'm over 50 and my kids have moved away and now it's me time and I'm living on a boat. But there's nobody like, okay, I'm 48 and I didn't have kids, but I don't know, what should I do?
You know why? Because I find a lot of social media is about everybody presenting not themselves.
Yeah. My mistake is actually presenting myself. But
yeah, and I think it's more important to present yourself.
People like it. I got a message from this chemistry doctor or something, this woman on Instagram who was like, you really inspire me to go after my dreams. I'm like, really? Because I'm just talking about how depressed I am. She's like, no, I like that because you're being honest and real, and I guess it makes people feel like, oh, it's okay, I've got worries too, but he's got worries, but we're all still working on things and stuff.
And I've had a lot of women who have said the same to me, that they find me inspiring because of the age that I am, because I turned 57 in November.
This is good, because nobody ever tells me their age. Like yesterday I was having to do the math.
I have no qualms with that.
Because I think it's, on the one hand, I don't want to know. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Like, 2 years ago, I haven't done anything since then. Like, does it matter now that I was 46, 40? But on the other hand, it's like, I guess now I sort of want to measure. I want, the woman who's the comedian. I'm like, okay, but how old are you now? Like, can you still do it? Like,
Yeah.
And then I'm doing that. So, yeah, so that's good. So you are 57, you said?
I turned 57 in November.
You will turn?
Yes, I will turn.
What day? Does it matter?
November 30th.
Okay, my birthday's in November too.
Is it?
So,
Are you a Sag like me?
I don't know, am I?
What's your day?
12.
Oh, no, you're a Scorpio.
Yes, I know that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Sagittarian.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Nothing. It means nothing. And that's one of the reasons I'm single, because
I'm a fire sign. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's probably good. Like, you can do a little fire emoji for yourself. I know these little mic stands. I don't know how it's supposed to hold it up.
I'm trying to.
I probably should have figured out ahead of time. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's But anyways,
turning 57, and I've had a lot of women who it's very, very humbling and very nice who have reached out and have said, thank you, you're an inspiration to me because I'm, whatever age they might be, and they like that I am saying, look it doesn't matter what age you are, and be happy with you and appreciate you, and just go out and follow your dreams, because it's never too late.
Well, I find that inspiring too. Like, every time I talk to a comedian, and that's why I follow these people like The Rock, who's 49. Okay, he's still having fun. He's doing stuff. He's got a head start on me. But yeah, when you hear, some woman who did the Yuck Yucks contest and just came first place in her night, she's like 52. I talked to her last year or something, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, there's I can still do stuff. So all you need is like to see one person going, oh, okay, she can be a model, then I can be a model, or whatever.
Exactly, and it helps to motivate.
That can be your niche.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna like have your yoga retreat where everybody can come, and it's Mary Ellen's Find Your Bliss yoga retreat.
Find Your Bliss.
For 50+ models, and let's get a camp. Ooh, this is okay. Here we go.
Here we go. I'm liking this idea.
We get a photographer, and then they can do all these shoots on the beach, and but everybody's comfortable because they're all similar age, so they don't have to feel like, oh, I'm competing with 20-year-olds and whatever. And you guys are having your cocktails and having your girl talk, and then yeah, because they do actually like influencers retreats for these things where you can get your photos and all this, but I don't know if there's like an older person one. So this could be your niche.
Yeah, it could be. I guess I'd have to get my yoga instruction though.
No. You just organize it. We find a yoga teacher and say, listen, you're going to teach some yoga. We're going to start with yoga in the morning, and then we're going to have a mindset coach. And maybe they're there. Maybe they do it by Zoom, and we all do an exercise, and then we pose on the beach.
I think we should do it in Bora Bora though, don't you?
Sure, that sounds good. My friend Ami took me on a tour that he runs for like Jewish singles to Costa Rica, but he wants to have a talk about like what some other stuff we could do, and so this could this could be a thing.
Let's do it.
All right.
Maybe we should call you The Spark, like The Rock.
Yeah.
Something to think about,
Yeah, because I was thinking of taking something like IamYourSpark.com or I'm Your Spark.
Others are just Spark, but you're the Spark.
I thought about that. The Spark. I'm the Spark.
Yeah.
Huh. And then it reminds me, there's a line in the new Star Wars, The Last Jedi, but the guy says, we're the spark that lights the fire that'll take the First Order down or something. I'm like, okay, well, I'm the spark. And I'm going to take down the First Order.
Spark.
All right, so maybe I'm the spark. It's tough with thes. Like there's Bono and The Edge. And then if you're talking about, hey, come over here, The Edge. Like you always have to say The Edge. Like, would you have to say, hey, where's the spark?
Yeah, true.
Like, hey, hi, what's your name? I'm the Spark. Oh, this is the Spark, and this is Mary Ellen, and is the Spark coming? Like, I don't know. It sounds a bit arrogant, but
pretentious.
But why not?
Yeah.
You gotta be confident, be yourself, whatever.
Exactly.
All right, I'm the. I can't even say it. It sounds ridiculous. Okay, imagine this. Imagine I'm at a comedy show and somebody's like, okay, that was Mary Ellen's stand-up. Thanks for that. And next up, The Spark. Or, all right, next up, Spark. Next up, Sparks. Next up, Celebrity Josh. Next up, Josh Ratchless. That's what I usually get. Whatever. I don't know. And then nobody remembers my name and they can't vote for me. So we'll see The Rock. Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I didn't know why he had that name, but then I found out his dad, I guess it was named Rocky or something. So it's kind of like, I guess it was a chip off the old Rocky.
Hey, I brought something.
What's that?
Wait. I might
just
connect my. Oh, it's not edible. There's nothing edible in my bag.
Listen, we're going to do interviews in the future, and then we'll be well fed. Maybe we should do them from like cafes and stuff.
So I thought it would be fun to look at in my early 30s.
Okay, so people who are listening to the podcast, you're missing out. So you'll have to check this out on YouTube.
Sorry.
No, we've got visual aids here. This is very exciting.
Visual aids.
So she's taken out a black portfolio, and we've got a big black and white headshot of her face, and then now she's talking on an old cell phone. Hold on, and then we got
an old cell phone. Is right.
She's in a business suit, leaning against a car, taking notes on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then we've got a payphone. Wow, and look at you. You look like
a payphone.
She's in a blue sweater. I had a blue sweater like that from like Le
you?
Chateau or something.
Cool.
And yeah, she's on payphone. Now she's looking all coy against a blue wall. And now she's just on a chair clapping or something.
I'm not sure what I'm doing there. I'm in Montreal.
Oh, Montreal. So we don't know what we do in Montreal. And then she's just looking. That's like the Instagram thing where it's like, stop smiling. That's your model face. And like, so that looks like her model face. Wow.
I did these with a great photographer who her and I are trying to get together again, Kathy Robertson, to recreate, we'll call it a 30th anniversary.
I like that. Yeah. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's more black and white in the tank top, and then you are beside a fence.
So a lot of these pictures were done with Kathy, and some of them were with others.
The evening gown, and then the what do you call that?
That was my Demi Moore
oh yeah.
look. What was that movie with Robert Redford?
Indecent Proposal.
Yes. Yeah. That was my Demi Moore look.
Very nice.
There,
I should watch that movie again. I feel like because when I get really rich, I want to be like, can I pay Demi Moore to sleep with? I guess that was the idea.
So that was kind of in my younger years.
Yeah, it's funny how age goes, because probably at the time, or you were like, oh my God, I'm 30, I'm too old. But now you look at it and you're like, oh, you look 10 years old. Like, so. And then there's your phone shot, looking into the distance.
My phone shot, my old cell phone.
Barrett Palmer,
Barrett
Ottawa,
Palmer,
Ontario.
which does not exist anymore.
Let's
that
see,
was my
5'8.5", if anybody's wondering. Bust, waist, hips, shoe, hair, auburn, eyes brown.
Yeah, you have to give all that information.
Absolutely, it's so demeaning.
Yeah.
Cool, so you've been, obviously you're not been carrying this around for 30 years, but did you bring it to jobs and stuff, or what would?
Of course, this is what was called your portfolio, and so now I just am updating my pictures with Angie for my new updates. All my pictures are on her website.
Nice.
And
because it used to be a bigger thing, like.
So now I'm with AMTI.
Oh, now she's brought out her AMTI book. Wow.
No, I'm not going to bring them all.
No. Let's see this.
You can have a look at that.
Because it used to be like.
I thought, what am I going to do? I'm kind of boring.
Yeah, no, you are.
I am boring,
I'm just kidding.
right?
No,
I'm
we've all
totally
been inspired. Because I got to think of what the title for this is. Because my new thing is like Spark You. It's instead of, because like you'll see that for my interview with Helena, it was just Helena, actress, interview. I'm like, well, that's not exciting.
Yeah.
So I want to give each title something like, because it used to be like, oh, it's celebrity news.
Mature yet immature?
Well, no, now it's something to learn. Like it's like how to something. Like what have we learned? So maybe how to start modeling after 50. I think that would get people.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
So there you
finding
go.
your bliss,
these are the new
like
photos, and you're still doing the blue thing. That seems to be your color.
This was a fun thing that I did. This was.
Oh wait, I'm not even showing people what I'm looking at.
That's okay.
All
That's
right. They don't need. They can check it out on Angie's website.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've got a book.
So a local author, Michelle Wetherall, saw one of my photos that was taken by Angela Homeyard, another local photographer, and he said, "You look like the face of a character, the major character, in a novel that he had done over 30 years ago called The Symbiote." And so he asked if I would be the face of Nadia, the character.
How does he know what the face looks like in a book?
Well, he wrote
in his head. He's like,
idea.
oh my God, you're the girl.
And so I was so honored.
Wow.
To be the face of Nadia, and so you can do these things after 50.
So
ladies and gentlemen.
How did you meet this author guy?
I met him because I was asked to be in a pageant. Which at first I was a bit reluctant because I thought, wait a second, pageants are usually for younger people.
Right.
But it was a multicultural pageant, and I was asked to represent a country that my roots are from, and so my mother's roots are from Italy, so I represented Italy. Oh. And Michelle was one of the judges.
Wow.
And
he's like, you. I'm assuming he's French. I don't know why.
I was kind of, no, he's not.
No.
It was kind of fun because I was, I won the title of most photogenic.
Wow.
At the pageant.
That's pretty good.
And I was the first runner-up, which I was pretty excited about because that was just first when I was trying to get back into modeling. So
look at her, just like, oh, maybe I'll try modeling. Oh, I'll just come in first runner-up, whatever.
And the pageant was called Mr. and Ms. Multicultural.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so was there Mr. Like, were you guys like the king and queen of the prom afterwards or something?
Well, I was first runner-up.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Oh right. So you didn't even get to be the queen.
I wasn't quite the queen.
But you could have been
almost the queen.
You could have been the queen of the
Never
first runner-up man.
Always just
Yeah. That's all right. I think it's better to come in second.
I do too,
cool.
right? Yeah.
I don't know why.
So that was kind of what I brought with me.
That's all very cool. This is all very inspiring.
My book of goodies. How's that? And it was kind of cool.
Well, not a lot of people have a book of goodies because I was.
Oh, people would probably be offended by that.
No, no, this is good. Hold on. I just want to say one thing first. Yesterday I saw like this Instagram reel and some girl was doing she was posing for something at an audition, and then the joke is like, when the photographer asks if you have a model portfolio and she says no, and then the photographer's like, ooh, and the makeup girl's like, ooh, and like she doesn't have a portfolio, but you do have a portfolio, so you're on top of it. And wow, okay, so here she is in a full leather bodysuit on a motorcycle. This is all new. This isn't I'm on a payphone stuff.
That's me. I am on a beautiful Harley.
Yeah.
And that was I was Miss June for a 2020 calendar that was produced by a woman photographer, Jane Metho.
Wow. And you're wearing that belt looks like, I don't know, that 60s show, like, I forget what the Avengers, I think it was called.
Yeah,
or something
they
like
provided the outfit that I would wear for that. So
I'll bet
that was
they
kind of
did.
fun. So
Wow.
I like doing a variety of things because I think it's important, especially as a lifestyle model, to do a variety of things. I love doing acting too, background acting.
Yeah, you were
I'm
saying
actually,
are you doing something today or you did before or what?
I have a self-tape to do later, and then tomorrow I'm going to do background in a movie that is being filmed in Northern California.
Wait, so you're going to Northern California tomorrow, or what does that mean?
Almont, come on.
Oh, so it was a little joke. Okay, that's funny. But yeah, Helena was here when I interviewed her. She said she was, I guess she was like a lead in some kind of Hallmark movie, but they were shooting it might have been Almont actually. It was some town near here that she says they shoot everything in.
Yeah, it was Almont.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Wow, it's the place to be. And so if you get, because you were saying your audition is for a Toronto movie, would you go to Toronto to act in it, I guess, if you get it?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, if you're driving down, how would you get there? Would you drive your own car?
I would drive my own car.
Okay, so if you're ever driving, you can take me.
Okay.
Because I need to get out of the city,
My
obviously.
oldest daughter lives in Waterloo, so
Okay.
I would love to drive to Toronto because it means I can go and visit her too.
Yeah, road trip.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What was I going to say? I had something else to say on the subject. Oh, yes, I've also started a Facebook group called Josh Rackless's Toronto-Ottawa Rideshare.
Oh, good idea.
I started that a few years ago just because I was like...
You may have to rename it, though, to Spark.
Spark, yeah, I know, because that's what I started making. Here's my other plan. Let me run this by you.
Okay.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna. This woman Kim has this thing called Group Convert, where you, it's like software that lets you collect email addresses for people joining your Facebook group, and then she teaches a course on how to monetize your Facebook group, and I guess do paid courses within it or something. So I'm like, okay, so I'm finally ready. I made my Facebook banner like she does. You say, click here, and then in the description it says, join my group. So a couple of days ago, I'm like, I finally should do that. But I started making groups for everything. There was like Spark U, Voice Acting 101, Instagram 101, copywriting, how to trade biotech stocks and crypto, all the things I sort of know. And then I was like, this is getting ridiculous. How am I going to manage like 10 groups and keep track of it and go? I'm like, maybe this makes no sense. So my other idea was, but it was all going to be like Spark U, right? Josh Rackless Spark. But then I'm like, maybe I just make one Spark U group. And
that's
it's
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Spark U should be the main, and then you could have subgroups that are different things that you learn under Sparks University.
Right, and I don't know how you make a subgroup, but I guess it was just going to be, here's the main group, and today I'm talking about stock trading, and you can watch this video or join my Zoom call, and tomorrow it'll be like just sort of, Spark University, but not a separate group for each thing, because I won't be able to handle that. And then it could be linked to the podcast, like, Spark, this is the Spark U podcast. And hey, I'm posting this interview in the group later, and then we can all discuss what we learned in that thing, or maybe Mary Elin can come and, give a live talk about, for
how to balance stuff on your head.
Yeah, about how to balance stuff on your head. Why that? Because is that part of modeling?
I don't know. I just have this knack.
All right. Well, you could use that. I've been watching Angie's Instagram story, and she was doing like modeling training a few weeks ago, and all the models walk down the concrete sidewalk with their heels, and I didn't see things on their head, but I know all the kids are playing in the beach here.
Yeah,
it's
they're
all
having
very
fun.
idyllic. This is my plan. When I'm a rich billionaire, I'm going to have my own little beachfront property, and we're all going to hang out on the beach. And
I have that same dream. Wow.
Okay, so let's make it happen. I don't know where to live. Here's my thing. Like, I'm manifesting the money, and I'm building a website that maybe it might make $1 billion on Sunday, so this might be my last non-billionaire week. But I'm thinking, okay, so when it happens, where do I want to go? Like, do I stay in Ottawa and buy a fancy house? Do I go to Toronto? Do I go, nope, I'm buying an island? I'm going to live in Santa Monica? A lot of rich people are moving to just Austin, Texas, or...
Me, it's easy. It'd likely be Manhattan and Tuscany. I'd split my time between both.
That was always the plan.
Montepulciano in particular.
Okay,
is where I would like to be.
My friend Jackie's going to teach in Italy for a few months. Maybe I should just go with her in September.
You should. Yeah. It's so beautiful, and maybe a little bit in the Greek islands too. I love it there too.
All right, and then we can still do our digital nomading and work and do interviews. Like, the plan with the whole digital nomad thing was, if Jennifer Lawrence wants to interview, okay, I'll meet her in a hotel lobby or a Starbucks, and we'll film this and I'll post it. I realized that hotels don't have good Wi-Fi, so if you want to live stream and all that, or even upload videos, it's hard. But maybe you just.
But if you're a billionaire, you might be okay. You might be able to figure that out.
There's got to be something. Elon Musk probably travels around. Maybe he's got some kind of Fire Stick for his computer that works really fast. How long do you think my podcast should be? Like sometimes they go an hour and a half, but then I find 30 minutes probably makes more sense. Like who the heck's listening to this stuff?
Yeah, I find, they say that people listen actively for probably a very short period of time.
Yeah, I stopped listening like 20 minutes ago to this whole thing.
Me too.
Okay, cool.
And
I was joking.
I would say about 10 minutes. I would say 10 to 15 minutes. It's
really?
About people's, it's got to just be sharp to the point. Grab them, get them, and then you're out, right? Because they stop paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what kind of show. Like every night I listen to the Ben Shapiro show, like about politics. But my plan is to take a melatonin and then fall asleep during it. So I probably hear about 15 minutes and then I sleep. And if I hear the end of it, I'm like, oh crap, it's an hour later and I'm still awake. So that's not good.
Well, one of my passions is learning about wine. And so I'm taking...
You're like a Bond girl, like just everything you do. It's like, yes, I'm just posing on a motorcycle and I like wine.
And so I'm taking this online learning course by Natalie McLean, who's local in Ottawa too. And each of her learning sections are about 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, and then you move on to the next one, and in each one you learn something.
For a course.
12 to 15.
All right. But that's the thing, and that would be good because everybody can sort of squeeze in 15 minutes how to do this kind of thing. I just feel like, Joe Rogan talks for 3 hours to people. That's not normal. That's not right. But I find it takes... Yeah, I guess you could try to keep it to 30 minutes. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter with the internet. You can just post it. You can just not, people can stop listening whenever they want. There's no time slot. But yeah, I guess I could try in the future keep these to 15 minutes because that might be less pressure too. Because it's like, oh my God, I've made 3. Like I booked interviews today for there's supposed to be one at 4 and one at 6. I'm like, I don't have time for this. But if I knew they were just going to be like 15 minutes, it'd be like. But I guess if you keep it fast rather than 10 minutes of rambling to start it, like you could actually get to the point. And if the person is so great that you want to talk again, then okay, let's do another 15 minutes later.
And then when they're not so great, they take long like this with me, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just trying to get out of this. And they're drunk on their Smirnoff Ice.
Exactly.
It's all ridiculous. Okay, so we've decided you're going to run your retreat. You've done all your you were going to show that thing that you thought would be offensive. But what about
my gosh, I put it away.
The Cougar magazine. Let's check this out. Like about 10, 15 years ago, I was in LA and some woman started a magazine called Cougar and I was like, can I still be Cougar bait? And they're like, yeah. But I was in my late 30s. I don't know if I can still be Cougar bait now. Let's see. So Cougar, the model magazine for the beautiful 40 plus.
So Wally Stemberger was the photographer for this. And so this was an interesting story because I wasn't even going to be modeling that weekend. I was actually down in Niagara-on-the-Lake doing some wineries with my partner, and then we were going to go and visit my oldest daughter, Sarah, in Waterloo. And Wally sent me a text and said, "Are you down in Southern Ontario?" I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Could we do some photos?" Because he's a photographer.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I didn't really bring anything, but yeah, sure, if you want to." And look what we produced.
Yes, so if you can't see, she is in a hot tub holding a flute of champagne
It's actually ginger ale. I don't drink.
Very clever, but it looks like champagne. And she's wearing a leopard print bikini top. And it says Cougar Summer 2019, the model magazine for the beautiful 40 plus, featuring Mary Elin Moore and then some other people and more. So that's pretty crazy that you're on the cover of Cougar. So is this his magazine or he was just shooting?
Yes, this is a magazine that him and another person down in Southern Ontario had created at the time.
That's hilarious. And so what does he do with this? Do people buy it online? Is it in a bookstore?
Yeah, they buy it online.
Wow.
Yeah. So I like doing things like this because it represents women of older age. So I hope nobody's offended by me saying that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a word for older that doesn't mean
mature.
Like mature. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, let's just face it.
Good.
So it's 40 plus.
But I still think like if we're living to 200, then this isn't like we're still teenagers. So it's all relative.
Exactly.
I mean, it's older than you've been around longer because you just have existed. But I don't know. I don't know what the. All right, sure, older. We'll call it older.
Older, yeah. So
Comment
I enjoy
below
doing
with your
that.
better word.
One of my most fun. Is most fun the right way to
most
say it?
fun, right?
Funner,
Right?
most
Funner?
funner?
Funnest?
I don't know.
Funnest?
Is it?
That was another word I was going to come up with. I was going to name myself...
Funnest?
It was Funner. What was my first name going to be?
I don't know.
Because I was going to be Truest. It was going to be like something Truest. Or just Truest. And then everything I would do would be like Truest voice acting classes. And then
that sounds way too pretentious. I don't like Truest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, well, I think I came up with, because I wanted to make a website like OnlyFans, but I'm like, I'm going to call it Truest Fans, because that was a word that kind of meant the same thing. And then I'm like, oh, but what if my name is Truest? And then everything is Truest something. And then I can make a dating app, Truest Love. But then I got sick of the name Truest. And I thought, what about Funner? Like, what if my name is Funner? And then, because I was trying to come up like Trump. It's a name, it's like one word, Trump Steaks, Trump Resorts. And I was like, okay, what if...
That's one syllable. Funner's two.
I know, that was the one downside, but I thought it still works. Like, and that's my thing, like Funner or funnest voice acting classes, funnest stock trading classes. So that was my name for a bit, but I can't remember what my first name was going to be. I guess it was just Funner.
Does that mean I don't get to tell my story now?
Sorry, I forget. What were we talking about?
One of my most funner.
Oh, right, yes.
Funnerest.
All right, yes.
Times was I was at the Canadian Talent and Model competition, CMTC in Toronto. I was, I believe, 53 at the time, and one of the competitions was bikini.
Nice.
And I had not signed up for that, given I am an older model. And my agent at the time said, Mary Elin, you are going to be in the bikini. And I said, no, I didn't sign up for that one. And she said, you need to be in that one.
Oh, my.
So I ran to a store.
Went to the gym.
I ran to Bikini Village because I did not have a bikini packed.
Yeah.
And all the women working at the store near the Pearson Airport in Toronto were wonderful, helping me pick out a bathing suit. So one of my finest moments in my lifetime was walking the runway in a bikini at 50-something years old with a lot of younger women. And I think it feels like I took an hour to walk that stage because I was not rushing it. I was savoring every single second of it. And when I finished, a lot of people were coming up to me after and saying, you are so inspiring. That was amazing. You look so comfortable up there and like you were really enjoying yourself. And I said, I was. Because that will probably be the last and first time I will ever do runway bikini, and I enjoyed it so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw a post yesterday that I just shared to my Facebook page today. It was like some woman from a distance, like a bigger woman in a swimsuit or something, and said, imagine you're 85 and you never, wore a bathing suit or did anything, and then norms change and now how you look is normal and you just missed out on 85 years of being free or whatever. So it kind of ties into that. But yeah, I mean, look how inspiring. And it's funny because to me, as a guy, I feel like, I have no value anymore. Like, I'm not sexy. I'm not 20 years old. I'm not Brad Pitt. But when I see women in their 50s or 60s or whatever, I'm like, they're still attractive. Like if I was at a resort, I'd hit on them. Like younger guys are always hitting on older women on dating sites. They still want to get in there. So
on dating sites, try just on any of your social media.
I'm sure. There you go. I'm sure everybody's going to slide into your DMs like, oh, I heard you did Cougar magazine. I'm a photographer too, or whatever. So there you go. So yeah, there's no, and women are so insecure. Oh, my body doesn't look. No, men do not care. We don't care. Like it's all good. Women are sexy. Like I don't understand where women. I think a lot of it is just women doing it to themselves or doing it to each other.
I think a lot of it had to do with in the past that it was the expectation women were to be of a certain look, a certain size, and that anything else meant that you were not right. And I think all of us women have suffered emotionally because of that, and it affected me for years where I thought I'm not pretty, I'm not, I'm a big girl, I can't do any of that even though it was my passion. And I think sometimes just releasing all that negativity, when you have a dream, you just follow it. In fact, The first time I knew that I loved being on camera was thanks to my father. From a very young age, being the youngest of 7, the other 6 wanted nothing to do with being in front of the camera. My father was a lover of photography and an amateur photographer, and he would always want somebody to pose for his pictures. So for the longest time, as one of my brothers, John, said, he never knew what my father looked like, except he thought he had Nikon stamped on his forehead, because that's all we would see, because he would always have the camera.
Nice.
And I used to love doing those pictures, and that was my first exposure to really loving...
No pun intended.
to loving being in front of a camera. And here I am now, and my father just passed away in April, and so it's very meaningful and fills my heart that I'm doing something that is because of what my dad started with me years ago.
Well, that's a beautiful, round circle or whatever, and that's great that you're having fun and that you're inspiring other people. It's all good. I can definitely, so yeah, I'll make the title of this, How to Start Modeling at 50 or something like that. And it even inspires me. Like, I'm like, okay, I can do my comedy and stuff. And guys feel insecure too. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't look like Daniel Craig. I can't. It's like, nah, who cares?
But today, everybody, can model, and it's about lifestyle and looking like real people, right?
Yeah, everybody have fun. And you know what? And there's a reason supermodels are super, like people like to look at beautiful, perfect people. I mean, that's just biological. So we don't have to like say it's society that makes us love beautiful young people. No, that's biology. Like there's, that's just normal. But we can also, there's beauty of all kinds, and we can just appreciate the models and not have to feel worse about ourselves, and we can still have fun and be funny and whatever. And even the supermodels get older. Like I'm following a lot of the models that I was in love with when I was young, like Letitia Casta or I don't know, Stephanie Seymour. I'm trying to think of Paulina Poroskova or whatever, and they're all posting about their insecurities and here I'm in a bikini, I don't know if I should be, and it's like, and they were like, goddesses, like they could do anything. They were supermodels, and even them are like, oh, I don't know about myself anymore, like, and what's her face? The from Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone. She's on Bumble, like the dating apps. Everybody's got their crap.
It's all because we let the enemy, our mind,
be
the one in charge of us.
That's what the Navy person told me yesterday. She said it's a mindset. It's all in your mind. You can't change your outside without changing your inside. Just do your thing. Yeah. All right, so this is our new life coach, Mary Elin. If you're ever feeling down, like, oh, I can't do something, like, nope, let's do it. Let's put on a leather cat suit and go to town.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's a good way to wrap it up. And if people want to find you, like, what should they, do you drive them to your Instagram, or what's your thing?
Yeah, it's my Instagram,
I'll put the link in the description.
Okay,
but
perfect,
yeah. Because it's hard to, what do you, like, M-A-R?
M-A-R, it's Mary Elin Moore. You see? Because my name's not taken, Josh.
But it's Ellen, like E-L-I-N.
Yes.
Yeah. And Ed Asner died yesterday or the day before.
Aw, did he?
Lou Grant from Mary Elin Moore.
I loved Lou Grant.
91 years old, so I guess that's okay. But I'm aiming for... It's funny, because like I get sad when anybody passes away, and a few years ago I was hanging out with my friend Mira, who's a bit older than me, and I was like, oh my God, it's so sad that Kirk Douglas passed. She's like, he was like 110. Like, what? That's not a tragedy. I'm like, I guess, but I don't like anyone. I don't know. I miss people.
I think that's normal.
But I guess you just gotta, we're all here now, so let's do our thing. And so what do you got for the rest of the day? You're gonna go you gotta do your self-tape.
I gotta get a self-tape done, and then I gotta get my outfits ready for my background acting in the movie tomorrow in Northern California.
Right, wink, wink, Almont. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully you'll come back on the show. And
absolutely, I'd love to spark or the spark.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary Elin, or the Mary Elin, and and we'll do one of these from Bora Bora as well on our retreat.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.